Falcons back at Deutsch Perry Stadium on Saturday, and we welcome back in the voice of the Falcons, Todd Walker from the Bowling Green Falcon Radio Network. Todd, thanks for joining us tonight on College Football Weekly. Let's jump right into it. The Falcons perhaps should be 1-1, if not for a late collapse against USA, as they had that game seemingly won, but couldn't quite finish the deal.
Yeah, the team really took it hard, and I think, it's a lesson about the little things and the details. You had an 8-0 lead quickly after the defense blocks a punt for safety. Then you get the pick six. Then what do? They miss the extra point. Now, could that have been the difference? The touchdowns. Things like this, the late fumble, all of it adds up to a game, frankly, you lose that you should have won. Bowling Green outplayed South Alabama for the vast majority of that game. Bowling Green's defense was outstanding. The offense still obviously has its issues and maybe left the defense out there a little too much. They couldn't quite hold up in the fourth quarter when South Alabama put together their only real drive of the game, gets the touchdown. But then Bowling Green's offense fumbles it late in the game to set up the game-winning field goal at time expired. That is the game that you hope is one that sticks with you, like John Gibson said on the radio call with me. You hope that stings because it should sting. That's the game they should have won.
And I think one thing that I certainly appreciate about Scott Loeffler, we know this is a young team. They're going to continue to be a young team, but he's upfront about it and saying, yes, we're young, but he is seeing signs of maturity, which is what you have to get out of this season, because even if everything goes your way this year, you're looking at best maybe a 500 type mark. It's about building for the future, and we're seeing those building stones, those cornerstones coming in place this year.
Yeah, you see a lot of talent out there, and really offensively, it's clear that they have the Jimmies and Joes everywhere that they need them right now, except the offensive line. It's just too critical that you have older guys that are more mature physically, also mentally. So what they've got to do now is try to scheme their way offensively to minimize their weakness, which is the offensive line. That's tough to do. But moving forward, hopefully they'll get better at that. The O-line will be maturing and at some point start to turn the corner. The veterans they've brought in, the Bryce Brand, Davon Ferguson's, the Devin Taylors, they have shored up the back end of that defense. And up front, these are all Bowling Green recruits. There aren't any old guys they brought in, but they are turning the corner. Carl Brooks leading the charge there. The defensive line is actually pretty good right now. I think defensively, this team should be solid all year. They just got to find a way to get the offense to keep taking little steps, and hopefully you get into the meat of the MAC schedule and have a chance to win some games.
Now, only time will tell how the Falcons respond to this, but I think there's two schools of thought. Either you lose a tough game to the Jaguars and you use that as momentum building forward, or it's a soul-crushing loss. Well, if we can't beat the Jaguars, we're not going to beat anybody this year. What is your sense of how this team moves forward?
I think it's the former of what you were talking about. I think the team is using it as a learning opportunity, and I don't think there's any way that they're discouraged by the loss, in exception of the fact that they didn't do the little see that what Coach Loeffler and his staff have been talking about is coming to fruition. They're starting to see it on the field, even though they didn't get the results they want. I think they're emboldened by the way they played, and I think they're going to use it to play even better this week. And frankly, if they had won last week, you'd be a lot more worried about the euphoria of that first win in a long time and playing well and beating a team like South Alabama. If they had done that, you'd be worried this week about maybe looking past Murray State. But now that's certainly not going to happen. This is a team hungry, if not, may I say, desperate to get a win on the floor.
They take on Murray State on Saturday, and Murray State, they played well with Cincinnati this past weekend for the Bearcats, now ranked 8th in the nation, pulled away in the second half. So it's a talented Murray State team, an FCS team coming up to the Deutsch.
Yeah, this is a solid program in the Ohio Valley Conference, have been for many years. And you're right, they were tied with Cincinnati at halftime. Clearly, the Bearcats took care of business in the second half. But the thing when I look at Murray State that I think is a concern, they have a very deep defense. They actually play, Coach Malone said on the coaches show Monday night, good luck calling this game because all their defenders on their two deep are going to play, and they've got big guys in the middle of their defense that are run stuffers. Bowling Green has struggled to run anyway this season, and if they structure their defense like that, I see this being a relatively low-scoring game. The way that defense is structured for Murray State, that's my main concern, that it turns into a real low-scoring game, and in fact, a very close game. But I think Bowling Green's got what it takes to put some points on the board this week. But when I look at Murray State, that's what I see as a main concern.
Falcons and Racers kicking off a little after 5 p.m. Saturday. Of course, you can hear that game on the radio with Todd Walker, the voice of the Falcons on the Falcon Radio Network. Todd, thanks for spending some time with us.
Always a pleasure, Mark. Go Falcons.